So we're going to use OneNote. OneNote lives in the cloud. You can use it at different methods in Teams, in the application on your computer, or online. Now you'll find as you get more used to it, the preferred method will be use the app, but I recommend highly that you start using the online version. It's a little more agile. It's a little bit easier to get things going. Not some of the rich tools there, but in saying that, although we'll do most of the editing with the online version, we will start in the Teams because that's the way we get all the class there in one go. Simply going to use it to set it up, open it, but then we'll go online. So what is OneNote? Think of it as a notebook for your class, and in saying that, the parts of OneNote are simply the notebook itself. So you'll have one notebook, typically for one class. Inside that notebook, you can have a whole number of sections. So you can organize all your stuff into logical sections, topics, weeks, however it suits you. You can also have section groups, which is, as its name says, just a group of sections. But the idea of the thing in the sections is they all just contain pages. A page must live somewhere. It's going to be in a section. You must have at least one section into your notebook, and the pages can belong in there. So the names of notebook parts, the sections, section groups or pages, really is just sections or pages. Everything goes onto a page, but a page must belong in a section. So that's the basics of it. I recommend that you go to onenoteforteachers.com and watch the 3 first videos, getting started with OneNote, getting to know OneNote, and getting the most out of OneNote. So welcome back. You know a little about OneNote now. You've had a look at how it works, maybe you've looked at the program. So here we're going to be setting up a OneNote with some sections in it. Now, as you remember, there must be sections, must be at least one section, or you may have some section groups. And so you can call a section anything you want, and it's call a section group anything you want, and inside of it, there are other sections. The key thing that we're looking at are the pages. The pages are where you put all the information. Any section can have any number of pages that you want. 1 page, 20 pages. So all those pages, just like a manila folder, all those pages live inside of section 1. So if we're looking for a page, it's in a section, and there can be many pages there. What's actually on a page, you can think of it as like a word processing page. So it's simply a blank sheet onto which you can put pictures and text, but as well as pictures and text, you can embed a whole lot of stuff. So existing documents you may have, sways, YouTube videos, forms, Excel documents, or just the words on the page and the pictures on the page. So unlike a Word document, those external things can actually live as files on the page. So a Word document can live on the page, or the words from a Word document can be on the page. So you end up with a OneNote that you've created, and you typically make it in the content library with all the sections set up, all the pages in the right place with all the stuff on them. That'll belong in the content library. Everyone can see it, but we're on to the next phase now where you want to start distributing the pages. And that simply means is like you've got a copy of it, you want every kid to get a copy of it. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously when you've created your sections, is your sections live inside of your OneNote. You'll have to create those sections in the student's OneNote, and then you can put an existing page into that section. So the first part is a bit, not intuitive, is the fact that the students have empty sections or no sections at all, so we must create some sections for them. You create sections for all your students at once. Very simply, create a section. You'll give every student in that class the same name section, and then into those sections can you make copies of your papers like you would photocopy. So if this has made sense, I'd recommend you go and have a look at the next 3 videos on OneNote for Teachers about class and staff notebooks. Okay, we're going to only look at the class notebooks, the first 3 there, getting started with OneNote class notebook, setting up a class notebook, and getting the most out of one notebook. Welcome to section 3, one more section to go for this part. First thing, and this will be done for you, I will sit and create the first one for you. We set this up as a master. We don't set up a staff OneNote. We want to set up a Class OneNote, so it'd be exactly the same as what the students will get. The only difference is we will not ever add students to this one. This is like your master copy that would sit in your office shelf. Yes, you'll let other teachers in there, but it's not something you give the kids. It's exactly the same setup. So the first thing we do is set up a team, add all the teachers onto that team as course teachers, and inside that team we'll click on the Create OneNote. Pretty much that's all we'll do in Teams at this stage. We'll just use it as a place to organise the people and create the OneNote. I recommend at this point here, you'll click on the Open Online and start working online. But let's have a look what happens. When you're creating this, you create two sections. One section is called a public section, and that means anybody that is part of the team will be able to see it. But in this context, anybody that you add as a teacher will also be able to write and edit to it. So at this stage, we're only adding teachers, so make sure we add them as teachers, and you'll see by default they'll become as owners. So it means they'll be able to edit, move, change, and assist in setting it up. I'll be doing this for you guys. Once we've got that, we're going to create some sections in the content library. So the content library is automatically generated for you. It's put in there, and we're going to change the names of those topics, of those section groups, things that go in there. So I'll sit down and we'll talk about that. You might already see that you'll get added to a team, and the OneNote will be there, and it'll already have these sections in it for you to go. So the last part to understand is that you'll get a class of your own. Unlike this one, you'll probably be the only teacher in this group, and it'll have your students. You'll have to add them yourself, but they'll be you as the teacher, and then you'll add all the students in your class. So this will become your student team. Once again, we'll only use the team to set it up and create it, and we'll also get the kids to go there to access it, but they'll click on the button that says Open Online, and then they won't need to go to Teams again, unless you've got some specific communication for them. On the student one, what you will notice is that you as the teacher, you will see what looks the same as the master one, whether the content library, a collaboration space, and the welcome section, but there'll also be the students. You as a teacher will be able to see all the students, but the students can only see their stuff and the content library. So we divide that up, as remember earlier we said this is the public space. Public space everyone can see, and owners can edit. In this situation, the students and our owners, they'll be able to see the public section, they'll be able to see the welcome, collaboration space, and content library, but they will not be able to see any other students' sections. They'll only see their own section and not the other students. You'll be able to see every student's. There is a caveat on this. The collaboration space is editable. Recommend when we first set it up, you can actually turn that off as not editable. So this is a common space where all the students can see each other's work just in that one section. So we might use that for group activities, and we'll explore that later on. But at the outset, you can turn it off so that nobody else can edit it. So it just makes it easier for going. What you'll notice though is when you create your own section, your content library is empty. So you've created a brand new workspace, a brand new OneNote for your class. Content library is empty, and all the student sections are empty. So once we created it, our first job will be to go back to the master, which has got all the content that you want, all the content that you can edit. And what we simply need to do is copy that across. It's a one simple click. You don't have to do too much. You just click it, choose the bits you want, and it comes across. And what that simply means is that then you'll have that all in the content library, so students will be able to see it. But the student section is still empty. Coming up, we'll run through the process of when you're managing a class, you'll be wanting to distribute the pages. There's two things to do here with the lower schools and starting off. You'll probably want to distribute it, say, hey, the kids will need these pages, and then which sections to go. But later on, or with the upper school kids, you might just let them manage themselves and copy out of content library themselves. So that's the sort of basic overview that we want to look at.